Okay. And I would just like to say welcome to everybody for joining us for our final session with Luana this year. It's always wonderful learning for all of us. You always pack so much into it. And so I'm sure that we will learn some great stuff tonight. So thank you to Luana for being here, and thank you to everybody for tuning in. Before we get started, we would like to acknowledge that we are located today on the treaty lands and the territory of the Mississauga of the Credit and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Wendat, and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. The territory is within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. To honor this covenant, we will take up our responsibility to be respectful of the traditions, knowledge, and inherent rights as sovereign nations. We will respect their relationship with these lands and recognize that our connection to this land is through the continued relationship with these First Nations. And we acknowledge our shared responsibility to respect and care for the land and waters for future generations. And so Luana, I will pass it over to you.
Miigwech. Thank you, Megan. I'm going to share a screen with you, and I might have to, let me just see this one here. After 2 years of this, I was saying I should know how to do this. So I just want to say, Ani Bojo, Kinawea, Wase Joming, Gwenikwe, Indigenous, Bijon Dodem, Nikichin and Damwa Maguk. I'm very happy to see you all. Let's see now. I am residing here in Aurelia by Lake Couchiching and Lake Simcoe. I am originally from Alberta, and I grew up in Toronto. Can you see this next slide, Strength of the Earth? Okay, so this is what I'm going to be sharing today. And it's kind of going full circle from what we talked about in the beginning was in the beginning of the year that we came together. I always talk about Blake Street Council, the council itself with other schools, telling them about, sharing about this journey that we've been on, and it's been very inspiring to the other schools and the other teachers, instructors, about what Blake has set out to do. So I really, I'm so thankful and honored to be part of that, this journey that you have set upon yourself, taking the lead to do this. And so a little bit again, Wandering Spirit Survival School was started in the 70s, and I was one of the original students there. And I also I believe I was the first graduate. There was 2 of us that graduated, but I was the first one out of the 2 of us. So I graduated and went on to the high school, Eastern Commerce, which the school now is residing in. So it's full circle for me. I went and visited recently there. And so this school was the foundational, well, not just for myself and my family, but for this community, the East, in eastern part of Toronto, and extended out to many different regions. Toronto got so big after a while, they started to bus the children in from different, way out in the West End and way up north. And, when they heard about the school, there was a calling. They were like, and so I'm meeting a lot of these children from the graduated, who started the school in kindergarten in 1980s. I'm seeing them now, and they're becoming teachers, and they're excelling in so many different ways, and seeing them have this resiliency and strength within themselves from being at this school at that time. There was a real big boom that happened in the 1980s at the school. So many kindergarten children were coming in. So, and that's, I see that now. They're adults. They have kids, and so it's such a beautiful thing. This, I want to acknowledge that we are in the cycle of the we're now in that cycle of the why can't I speak? Odemingesis, and that is the strawberry moon. It started on the new moon this last week, and it is a new cycle, a new beginning, and it is going. We're heading into summer solstice, and that Odemingesis is again a time of celebration of the heartberry, and the heartberry is the one. Turtle Island was literally this berry here sustained us through so many in so many ways, through our health, through the winter harshness, through ceremonies. This strawberry was the one who gave herself to us in her strength of the heart. And if you look at the strawberry, what it does is the seeds are on the outside, and then you look inside, you can see there's these little veins, or these little I guess they're veins that go into the middle of the strawberry. Those little strips, white, yellow, I think, they are so strong that they actually our stomach can't, or the acids in our stomachs cannot destroy them. So that's how strong those little thin lines are, layers that connect from those the outside to the inside. And when we eat the strawberry, it cleans us out. It literally, what it does is it takes a hold of metals in our system. Any kind of metal, it'll clean it out, and it has that strength to carry it out of our body. That's how beautiful and how strong that berry is. And so, I was speaking with a young man yesterday, and he said the strawberry in the Californian coast, they have the Pacific strawberries there. And again, so it was literally across Turtle Island, these strawberries came up in different forms. And he said they were revered as the life berry, the life berry. And so we, that's what we see them as, the heartberry. And our people would use them when we were maybe unbalanced in something was imbalanced in our body. We would use that strawberry and take everything, like use everything from her, from the roots to the stems to the leaves, everything. And then we go, this one here is July. That's another berry. That's another story of that, the story of this time of year, right? I'm just looking, we're looking at these berries, the 3 berry moons in summer. This is a whole cycle, the new cycle that's coming up. So honoring the berries is what we would be doing during this summertime. So the I'm not going to go into this creation story, but what I'm doing is through the time that we have connected and sharing through Zoom, one of the main things that I speak about is water, the water, and how we see water and who that is to us. And so there are many origin stories, many creation stories, and water is everywhere. Water.
Hi.
We have water. That's the creation story came to where the water, there was so much water in the, there's pockets of water in the universe, but there was a pocket here that surrounded Earth. And that's where that life bundle was placed. And that's why we have that life. We have that connection to water. And so there are many grandmothers who take care of the water. We have the waterways, the lakes, rivers, and streams. That there's a grandmother that takes care of that one with her helpers. There's the oceans and the saltwater grandmothers. There's the ones that are up in the sky world who take care of the sky world. And then there's the ones in the womb, and that relationship to the ancestral remembering, and the water grandmothers there. So water is what holds us together here. We live on a water world, and so we see that, and we have relatives. The relatives that are around us are those trees, are those plants, are those everybody. So my garden outside, I have all my relations out there, and so that's our way of looking at life. We don't, we only use what we can use. We can all, we pick what we will use. We don't overpick. We don't, so there's, and we talk to that plant. We talk to it and say, this is what we need of you. And a scientist had talked about his, this is 1966, where he did a study on the EEGs. He monitored plants, and those plants, he was able to see the when he just picked them, and didn't say anything or something, he just picked it, and there was trauma there with that plant. But when he spoke to it, or even his intentions were just thought of, that plant understood. It understood what it was going to do, and it actually balanced out its reaction to being picked. So that is something, as Indigenous people, we have that way of looking at life around us. And so everything has a spirit. Everything is energy. We're very careful. We walk very carefully. Like that origin story, that creation story, the first man who came, or the first person, I should say, who came to Earth was overwhelmed by the beauty and the richness of Mother Earth, where he or she saw everything around them alive, and they knew that as they were coming, because they came down really slow, and they were able to see the layers and layers and layers of the earth, and they were able to see life on every level, and they got so overwhelmed, and their heart was so full, but they were so afraid that they were going to hurt something when they landed on Earth, because they understood that everything was alive. So the story is said that when that first person entered into the earth and was going to touch the earth, they pointed their toes. And that's, literally, that's where, that's how much love they had for all of creation. And that's our way of seeing life around us. and seeing the examples of life, how we should be living our life. I talked about the strawberry. The strawberry shows us our connection to our family, to our community. She shows us how intricate we are, and how how strong our roots are, but how connected we are, because her shoots they shoot across, to all her family. And so she shows us that. She shows us the love for our community and our family. So the last time we talked, I shared a little bit of about Tkaronto, a little bit about that. That was a big presentation. It was a big one. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did you get yourself into? But it's ongoing learning, that's for sure. And so Tkaronto, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Tkaronto, it's a D, not a T. Tkaronto. It is Mohawk, and I shared that it means the where the trees are standing in the water. It's the weirs. The weirs is a system to a fishing system, catching fish, and it's a very intricate system. We have one up here, and you should come up and check it out sometime, because it is older than the pyramids. But this ledger from this here is the incorporation of Tkaronto, when the Mississaugas signed over Tkaronto, and it shows the system, the clan system there. There's a clan system with those little animals that are signed by the people, the chiefs, and it shows there that most of them are bird clan, and then there's one fish, and you can see that they are they're talking about that clan system. There's a pattern there, and so they have the bird clans normally would be the loon and the Chichuk. They have that Chichuk is crane, sorry. They have that responsibility for clan leadership, and they work together. And then you have that little fish in there, and that fish they're the mediators. So that would be like a lawyer or something. they take, so they work together. And that's how really important our system is. We do, like I said, everything has a pattern and a way. My clan is a clan of, it's a warrior clan. And so we have responsibility to the people that, and we were at once in, Ogichada, which is the warrior people. And there's a revival happening of our clan systems and our stories of our clans and our teachings around the clans. We're reviving that clan system. And just like we're reviving our spirit names are being spoken more. So my spirit name means light smiling woman. And so that's who I truly am. And so there is that, everyone is looking at that, connecting more to that. So when Tkaronto was purchased, incorporated, it was the Mississaugas were the people that were here. But long before them, there were the people, the Huron-Wendat people were in this area. And the name, the Great Sparkling Water, was named. That's the original name of Lake Huron. Yes, spirit names are given at birth. They say that we have our spirit name given to us before we enter, before we are born. Our spirit name is given to us, and it is up to us, our family, our elders, or traditional peoples around us, who will look for that name for us. So we can, they say that when, if a person does not have their spirit name, that the creator can't fully see that person. They can see them, but they're kind of blurry to them. But once they have that spirit name, it's like it's a big part of you that you're acknowledging. It's not just your name, but it's who you are. So that yeah, Lake Huron, that's a wrong lake. Lake Ontario, at one time was they called it the Great Sparkling Water. And at one time you could see the bottom of the lake. That's how amazing clear this lake was. And the lake itself had incredible amounts of fish. And the fish weren't just, you know, we see little fish here and we think they're really big. These were 5 to 6, 7 feet, these fish. And these were like lake trout and salmon. I don't know all my fish, but these were all lake fish and they were massive. So we have stories about sturgeon, how big the sturgeon were, and how we were, there's stories about our people, how they rode the sturgeons. So it's not just the sturgeons that were incredibly big, it was all fish. And there were so many of them, just so many. And the first peoples, the people like, I think is Champlain, am I say Samuel Champlain, this Champlain, Cartier, they, when they first came to this area, they were overwhelmed by the amount of fish, but also how many birds there were in this area. The birds were, they just took over everything. And it was like darkness in the sky. That's how many birds were here. And they couldn't name them all. They thought that our geese were, what was it now? Some kind of bird in England, I forget now, but they didn't, they were just going by what they knew. They didn't know, I guess they didn't know the Canadian geese. But yeah, we had incredible amounts of wildlife. Even polar bears came closer down to this area. And it makes sense because, I mean, there was nothing like we, as a people, Indigenous people, we didn't have guns before contact. And so we would hunt, but we wouldn't, you know, we would hunt in incredible ways, but polar bears weren't really afraid of us because we really, I guess we didn't hunt them. You know, they weren't our first choice for meat, I guess. And that's another story about our clans, because we don't eat our clans. So if I was a bear clan, I would not eat bear meat. It's like eating your relative. So that, you know, if you're a fish clan, you wouldn't eat fish. If you're a bird, you wouldn't eat a bird. So that's, you know, it's respect for your family. And so this is a picture here of the migration of the Anishinaabe. And that is, you know, when we talk about the Mississaugas, Mississaugan, the people at the, what is it called? The people at the mouth of the river. I think that's the name. Yeah. They're related. They're all related. This migration story here is our elders talk about how the people migrated from the east, went to the west, and it was all about the prophecy and how they were told if you didn't move from the east coast, you would be destroyed. And, you know, we see that, we saw that, you know, systematically what happened to our people. And so the people moved and they migrated and they shifted, and they shifted up north, they shifted down south, and different nations were created. And so lots of movement over, they say, at least 500 years for the migration. And so the Mississaugas were part of that. But before them, the Hurons, it was said that you could see on the lakes here, hundreds and hundreds of Huron lodges, longhouses, hundreds and hundreds. So imagine how many people that is, you know. So, you know, when you look at Tkaronto or Tkaronto, you know, this is just another, there, you know, there is layers upon layers of people that have been coming to this area for thousands of years. And I don't know why my phone is not off. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about that story. And myself as a Cree woman from Alberta, you know, this is the story of migration of my people, because it is literally, I'm related, that we have this direct relationship. And so the people that migrated, they kept moving. They went out west. And that was what the prophecy said: keep moving west, and you will see the signs. You'll see the signs, and all those signs are in this area. You know, if you want to, you know, you travel down the St. Lawrence River, you will see those signs. You will see those places where the people stopped and they saw certain what do you call that, spiritual signs to keep going, and or to say, yes, you're in the right place. Sometimes they felt like they were getting lost, and then a spiritual sign would come and show them, yes, you're, you know, it's time to renew that migration, keep going. This is the way to go. So people would have dreams, and people would have they would have visions about, you know, okay, we need to go north now. You know, what does this mean? You know, the stepping stones, and the stepping stones are the one in Georgian Bay. The stepping stones means all those lakes, not the lakes, the islands. Georgian Bay has, I don't know how many, hundreds and thousands of islands, but that was the stepping stone to of that path to continue the migration. So, and this migration again happened within 500 years or more. I think it's more. Personally, I think it's more. We are in that seventh fire. I talked about that last time, and we are still in that seventh fire. If anyone says, oh, the eighth fire is lit, our elders and teachers tell us that we're still working on the seventh fire. We have choices we have to make as not just Indigenous people, but all people right now. So this is what we're looking at now. And so we have a system, you know, I keep going back to patterns and systems, because there is patterns here. And we look at Lake Ontario and the veins that run, and the arteries that run from the watersheds. They're very, very, very important to life, to sustain life on Lake Ontario. So, you know, I was talking to a school who honors Lake Don River. Their school's right by there, and they're working to restore the name. And so I talked about Don River, my father used to swim in there. There was, it was so clear and you could fish, and you can't do that anymore. But there are people, Ogichida, that's again, standing up for the people, standing up for the water, for the life of the water. And so it's a vital thing. I know many people, I forget what they're called now. Well, architects who are working with the, they're working with students and Indigenous scholars to help incorporate buildings that will flow with, help actually water the plants around them. And there's a reciprocal nature there that they're really pushing that in Toronto. This is Toronto, and it's exciting. So, and it's not just Indigenous people, but they're working with the Indigenous teachers and the historians on this. ReconciliAction. I love that word. That's a word that I think you guys told me this. You guys were the first ones that I heard this from. And we have, I worked with Wandering Spirit School this last week, and we were doing planting ceremonies with all the different grades. And they, when I look at ReconciliAction, that's what I see. I see that, together we are working to plant newness and planting seeds. And we have to be very mindful. In the planting ceremony, we are acknowledging the water. We do a water prayer, and we do tobacco. We speak to those plants. We speak to the dirt, to the worms, and all the, everyone who's living in that soil, and the soil itself. And we are acknowledging what they're going to be they're doing together, working together. And so that ceremony, in this case, they had to put them in these big galvanized drums. So they had maybe 30 different drums, galvanized drums, because the school is going to be, I think it might be being not relocated, but there's stuff happening in the near future. So but they still wanted to grow the medicines and grow the berries and grow everything. So these galvanized bins are tough as anything. And I see that that's what we have to do. We have to, as all people, work together in this way, work together to plant those seeds, but to make sure that protected and nurtured. And so this is just some of the things that I've been listening to people and talking to different community members about this ReconciliAction. And I find that the Blake Street Council, you guys are doing, like, literally doing this whole thing. You're way beyond what what people are doing. I've heard also that reconciliation is something that, there's scholars out there saying that it's not working. It's not, they're very negative about it. But I believe that it can be just as simple as planting a garden together and working together on that, helping the earth. That's my whole goal in life, is just to connect to the earth, and be a caretaker. And so that's what we should be focused on, I think. And this young girl that's helping this teacher, she was incredible. She knew exactly what to do, how to plant, and how to, massage the roots, and how to pack it in, and you know no one told her this, but she knew. And so, so we have to trust them, trust those young ones. They are so brilliant and so beautiful. So I just want to go through this, listen to and follow the lead of the community, Indigenous led, respect for all. This is just little ticks, but what you're doing, this is what this whole series has been. You're giving me this time to share and work together. So I see that. Know the historical context, cultural context. This is a big one here for what's happened in Canada. The layers upon layers and layers of different things that's happened to the people. Knowing where it's coming from, the historical trauma, this discrimination. Never show up empty-handed. So that, to me, that is something that we have in our way. That's part of that teaching of medicines. When we have, if I'm giving something to you, you would give me tobacco for that. So there's always an exchange. There's always an exchange, or something that may be a gift. So that's that building of that relationship. We may be a little different, or but we're building something there. Consent and permission. So again, that is, do no harm. Yeah, come with that intention and that respect. Know when to step back, taking up space, be supportive. So that is pretty much, when to step aside and let that elder speak, and encourage them, because we have there are cultural differences. Our people are we're not as bold. Some are, I should say, but like just even the example of looking at somebody in the eyes, we kind of that is very intrusive to us. So, but in this society, when you don't look at somebody in the eyes, they think you're being shady or something. But our people are, that's a little too personal for us. So, that's something that you can see some grandmothers will look down, when you're talking to them, so that's knowing that, and understanding where they're coming from. And again, solidarity, not saviors, being there for each other, because we're all in this as a collective. We're here together. We're working together to strive to understand and respect each other. And you've heard me talk about the 7 grandfathers. That's what we strive to be. We are upheld by those teachings of the 7 grandfathers. They are the ones that intertwine with each other and support each other, and they're instilled in us as a people, and they're yours too. Again, and that's how exciting that is. We're all part of Turtle Island, and that's what upholds us here in this part of Mother Earth, are those 7 grandfathers, in the Anishinaabeg way, just to let you know. So I'm going to say miigwech. I have, this is a song. it is a song about Canada, and it is a song that a grandmother, she wrote the song. It's called Canada Gizagigo. So it sounds like Canada. If you break up that word, it means earth all Ode. And so celebrating Canada. And I'm just going to give you one round of this song. Okay. Miigwech Gijemedo Miigwech Weya heya heyo Miigwech Gijemedo Miigwech Weya heya heyo Canada Gizagigo Canada Gizagigo Canada Weya heya heyo Weya heya heyo Miigwech. Say miigwech to everyone, and thank you so much for letting me share and giving me this time. Miigwech. Hi.
Miigwech.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Luana. We still have a few more minutes, so I know some people might have some questions or things that they'd like to ask. So we will open it up to everybody. And if you want to either throw it in the chat, or if you want to just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask away.
Stephen?
That was just my applaud. I really,
Oh.
you know, I find sometimes when I hear you speak, and even when I hear you sing, you tend to, you know, sort of take me away a little bit, right? And I feel like I can really unplug when I hear that. So just, you know, Miigwech, thank you so much for your words. And I was astounded your first few slides with how we are so connected with the earth. And I remember hearing, I don't know if you know Rod Nedagog, Bluestone Cloud, and he talks about how there isn't anything we can't learn that the earth can't teach us. So I thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Miigwech, Stephen. Miigwech, Athena.
So Luna has a comment about recommendations about how to get started with some Indigenous plantings, I guess, and medicines at their school garden. They're at Withrow Avenue, just up on, or just, I guess, what, northwest of Blake.
I used to go to Withrow. That's awesome. So there are different community gardens, Indigenous gardens in Toronto happening. The Ojibikon one. Then there is it's a collective, and they are actually. I can hook you up with somebody who actually is delivering Indigenous plants to different areas, especially in the East End. So if you want, I can send that to Megan, her email, or I can make that contact. Yes, Ash Bridges Estate. No, I don't think so. Maybe, but yeah, I'll talk to you about that. I'll send up some information to Megan.
Yeah, and we'll make sure when we send the links to the videos and everything to all the participating councils. We'll make sure we include anything that Luana shares with us about this stuff too.
Athena?
Anthea, thank
Oh,
you.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's not a common name. Thanks for taking my question. Yeah, I did try to, I'm with Luna in the gardening, and I did try to connect with Obicon and all of the different ones, and nobody got back to me. Even Wandering Spirit School, no one was returning any of my calls or emails or anything like that. So yeah, if you have a connection, a direct
I have another
with
connection.
them,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be great, because a lot, I was even sent like a list of different gardens and stuff. Some of them, the web pages no longer were good, the contacts were not good, the emails bounced back from a list that I got from someone from TSP this year. So some of them have gone defunct, for lack of a better word, because no one, a lot of it bounced back, or the web pages no longer existed from the list. So yeah, if I'm glad that you actually know someone.
Yep, I do.
Okay,
Definitely.
all right, great. Thanks for sharing. It was wonderful to hear the history and how Lake Ontario used to be, and all the people migrated through, and all those things, beautiful stories. And strawberry, I'll never look at the strawberry the same again. I may start eating more. My husband loves them. But yeah, thank you so much for your stories and your way of speaking to us and helping us learn about your culture. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time, and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job. And thanks for the pictures too. And showing that, yes, we have to keep passing it along, and some kids will pick it up quickly, and others will just, they'll just be at home once they get into that. So it's really good to see carrying on the legacy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi.
I have maybe a stupid question, but I'll ask it anyways. So considering that it's like National Indigenous History Month, I teach kindergarten, FYI. So I just like to kind of give them little bits each day during this month of different people. And I'm just wondering, like, who do you think, maybe someone that's been overlooked and hasn't been getting enough love, who should I include or spotlight in my exploration of Indigenous history?
Wow.
Poor children.
Oh, wow. Oh, geez.
Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot. Forget it if it's a bad question.
No, that's not. That's a great question. I just have a lot of them that you could go through the history of, we have cultural heroes. We have different clan stories, that maybe somebody might say, oh, what, oh, there's so many. Somebody that's overlooked. Yeah, I would have to get back to you on that. That's
all right. And it's a big question. Sorry about that.
No, but there is, my mother, Pauline Shirt. I don't know if you know who she is. She was one of the, not only she is the founder of Wandering Spirit, but she was one of the women who helped change the way Bill C-31 was passed in the 80s, where, because her and her sisters all lost their status when they married non-native or Métis men. They were disenfranchised, everything. She was one of those ones that fought for that, and she used to travel to Ottawa so much, and she would meet with all the prime ministers, I think it was 3 sitting prime ministers, and we'd get Christmas cards from the prime ministers, right? Because she was on their mailing list. And so but she's not recognized for that. She's not recognized as the president of Indian Rights for Indian Women. That is one that was started out west. And so you have that other one, what is it called? Native Women's Association. Oh, geez, I can't remember. But there are prominent women there, but that Indian Rights for Indian Women wasn't given. The focus is on more on this other one, and I can't remember the name of it now. But yeah, so there's people like that. I mean, and then there's, yeah, maybe I can send some more information to Megan. Yeah.
Well, I'll include your mom then in my exploration this month. By the way, I'm teaching it with her right now, actually.
Nice.
Small.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Maybe you need to include Luana in your list, Stephanie, of an influential person.
I don't know. I thought you meant like an email list or something. Like, sorry, I thought that. Anyway, yes, I should. Thank you. I will.
All right. Thank you. No, but thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Anybody else? Any other questions or feedback? That's, you know, it's always appreciated.
I always love when you tell your stories and you talk like, for example, when you were talking about our connections with nature. And as soon as I saw all the images together and you were talking all about it, I'm like, well, this makes so much more sense. And so I love how you, you make it really clear how connected we are. And I think it helps me to realize how much more attention I need to pay to how I am connected to the earth and how I am getting my kids to treat the earth and look at it from a different perspective than just environmentalism as a whole, but that you know, it is our responsibility because it is a part of us. So thank you for that.
Miigwech, miigwech. Thank you, Luna. I just read your comment too. Miigwech. And so that is that, you know, if we keep playing in the dirt and, you know, it changes us. It literally changes us. The microbes in that dirt change who we are, because that's who we are. And we're so disconnected. Now more than ever, we have to shut down from the cell phones and everything and go play in the dirt. That's, you know, so I'm literally my hands, I've been in the dirt and I love it. So, you know, it makes me happy. Miigwech, miigwech. So Bamapi, that means see you later.
Bamapi.
May see you next year.
Yes, thank you everybody for attending tonight. Thank you so much, Luana, for sharing your knowledge with us. And just a little plug, Blake Council is also going to be hosting a fire on June the 21st at Greenwood Park like we did in the fall. And so we're inviting the community to attend. It is a public place and a public park. We'll be at the kind of northeastern edge of Greenwood Park on the evening of the 21st for Indigenous Peoples Day. So hopefully we'll see some familiar faces there. Thank you all for coming tonight. And we'll make sure that we share the video out.
Thanks for the invitation, and I hope that you can include it in an email from the school so that others can join.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bamapi.
Miigwech.